I guess I'll start by saying that I think there are good drugs and bad drugs. 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 Good bad drugs. Good drugs and bad drugs. Good drugs and bad drugs. Good drugs and bad drugs. Good drugs.
Smoke a bean in here. Smoke a bean in here. You gotta smoke a bean in here. Smoke a bean in here.
Good drugs and bad drugs. Good drugs and bad drugs. Good drugs and bad drugs. Good drugs. Good drugs. Bad drugs.
I said you have the security system in your memory base.
Would you like to smoke some marijuana?
It's been a long time.
Man, different methods to the way I do my
You
shit.
just have no long-term memory because you get high all
Would
the
you like to
time.
smoke some marijuana?
Roll that shit like that shit smoke.
You're a towel. You're a towel.
And not only do I think marijuana should be legalized, I think it should be mandatory.
You can't even write that joke without weed. If you like that joke, you are pro-weed. I would have never come up with flying squirrel pussy people on my own.
Think about it, man. You get in traffic behind somebody. Shut up and smoke that.
Would you like to smoke some marijuana?
You wanna get high?
Would you like to smoke some marijuana? Would you like to smoke some marijuana?
Woo! It's like a drug. Oh, these glasses make you high. Oh, you come down hard.
Wait them on,
People who smoke
wait them on,
marijuana, pot, weed, whatever you want to call it,
wait them on,
are more prone to get
wait them on,
psychosis. If you're predisposed,
wait them on,
Can I trust you? Because I think the government's against me.
wait them on,
The CIA has an army of spies
wait them on,
watching me 24/7, and that's why I hide
wait them on.
in the bushes in front of my house every night with a steak knife.
Roll that shit like that shit smoke it. Man, different methods to the way I do my shit.
Good drugs and bad drugs. Good drugs and bad drugs. Good drugs and bad drugs.
Would you
Good
like to
drugs
smoke some marijuana?
Good drugs and bad drugs. Good drugs and bad drugs. Good drugs and bad drugs. Good drugs. Drugs.
We're good drugs, man. So let's stop the insanity, and finally legalize crystal meth.
Groovy.